are you interested in the job you're seeking within the main question? What makes you uniquely qualified to do this job?
I love the job and I love this county. I want to continue to help you if I can. You elected me because you trusted me enough to vote for me and to help you. I hope you continue to trust me, and I don't want you to vote for me just because you like me. I want you to vote for me because you trust me to help you and do the job that you pay me to do. It's your money that pays us, and you want to pay us to work for you. You don't want to pay us just because you like us. I feel like the last 8 years has given me most of the experience that I need to keep working for you. And I appreciate you all. Thank you.
Our next candidate, Ms. Faye Stevens, Register of Deeds for the County of Fentress. Faye, thank you so much for taking the time to participate this afternoon. Your question: why are you interested in the job you're seeking within that main question? What makes you uniquely qualified to do the job?
The reason I'm interested in the Register of Deeds office is because I love Fentress County. And it's a great honor to be a county official in Fentress County. And my interest 16 years ago was the interest of the people. I wanted to make the Register of Deeds office the best Register of Deeds office in the state. And we're at the top of the line. In computer systems, we're up with Nashville and Knoxville. And when you come into the Register's office, you'll see that. And the main reason I ran, I wanted to help the people of Fentress County. And the Register of Deeds seat gives me this opportunity. And I go above and beyond my office to help the people of Fentress County in any way that I can. And I want to welcome everybody into my office anytime that you can come. And thank you for allowing me to be your Register of Deeds.
Thank you, Faye. Our next candidate, Ms. Charlotte Peavyhouse Garrett, Circuit Court Clerk for Fentress County. Charlotte, your question: why are you interested in the job you're seeking within that main question? What makes you uniquely qualified to do this job?
Anyone who knows me can tell you that I believe in hard work. I am Charlotte Peavyhouse Garrett. I'm a candidate for Circuit Court Clerk because based on my years of experience, I have a degree in business management, and I have honesty and an accountable work ethic that will make me the most qualified candidate running for Circuit Court Clerk. If elected, I will serve you with a higher standard of service in your Circuit Court Clerk office. I'm effective, experienced, accountable, and I believe the people deserve the very best Circuit Court Clerk office possible. That is what makes me the best candidate for Circuit Court Clerk. Thank you.
Thank you, Charlotte. Our next candidate, Ms. Wanda Tompkins, candidate for Fentress County Trustee. Ms. Wanda, your question: why are you interested in the job you're seeking within that main question? What makes you uniquely qualified to do this job?
I am Wanda Tompkins. I am a candidate for the Fentress County Trustee. I consider this as another chapter in my life, maybe before retirement. Of course, better pay doesn't hurt either. But really, the trustee job is something I've thought about for a few years now because it is related to banking. I worked in the bank for 13 years as a teller, opening new accounts, taking care of retirement accounts. I did accounts payable, deposits, receipts, whatever was necessary. Service to the customer was always very important to me, and it still is. My current job is being of service to the elderly. I am honest, dependable, and I love the people of Fentress County, and I believe that that makes me unique for this job. And I thank you all very much.
Thank you, Ms. Wanda.
Thank you, candidates, for your remarks. At this time, we will excuse these candidates and ask that the candidates for the office of sheriff make their ways to the table. Audience, feel free to visit the Chamber's concession stand and use the facilities. We will begin in 5 minutes. At this time, I'd like to introduce our candidates for sheriff, Mr. Tony Choate, Mr. Chuck Cravens, Mr. Spencer Hoover, and Mr. Gary Ledbetter. Mr. Bass.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Tony, thank you so much for taking the time to participate in our forum this afternoon. Your first question, drugs were the top concern of our respondents. How would you control the illegal buying and selling of prescription drugs?
I'm sorry, Turk. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
I got mixed up on my account here. I got a
Would
different
you like us
question
to
there.
repeat the question?
Yes.
Drugs were the top concern of our respondents. How would you control the illegal buying and selling of prescription drugs?
Okay, thank you, Turk. First, I'd like to work hand in hand with the senators and the representatives to get a new legislation passed to hold doctors to a higher standard on the issuing of prescription drugs. I would like to compile statistics of different crimes of prescription drugs as related to other types of crimes. I would also like to work with surrounding counties to gather statistics so we could have a much larger voice to hopefully help with this legislation. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. We would like to have each candidate to hold your microphone a little bit closer to your mouth due to the system we're using. It requires that for the public to hear. Thank you, Tony. Our next candidate, Charles S. Cravens, known as Chuck Cravens, the Fentress County Sheriff. Chucky, your first question. Drugs were the top concern of our respondents. How would you control the illegal buying and selling of prescription drugs?
Well, Turk, first of all, I wished I could tell you and the folks in this room that I could control it. But the fact of the matter is there's not been a sheriff elected that has been able to control it or will ever be able to control it. The only thing myself as a sheriff can do is work hard every day and take each citizen that calls in a complaint about the sale of illegal narcotics is to take the time to sit down and take that person's information seriously. Over the last 4 years since I've been sheriff, we have arrested over 450 people for the illegal sale of narcotics. And that has come through search warrants, traffic stops, etc. But the biggest majority of my information has come from the people of the county. That's where it starts. The people of this county are the front lines of defense against the war on drugs, and without their help, our hands would be tied. But I'm proud of my record. I'm proud of what we've done in the last 4 years. We have arrested and sent people to jail in the last 4 years that most sheriffs have not done in 2 terms, and I'm very proud of that. But I can't. If I tell you anything else, I would be lying to you, because there's no way to control it and there's no way to stop it. If you can control it, you can stop it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cravens. Our next candidate, Mr. Spencer Hoover, candidate for Sheriff of Fentress County. Spencer, your question.
Thank you.
Drugs were the top concern of our respondents. How would you control the illegal buying and selling of prescription drugs?
First, at this time, there's a movement to computerize the medical records to stop doctor shopping as a prescription drug supply and TennCare fraud. Also, with computerized records, doctors can be checked to make sure they're not writing prescriptions just to get TennCare funds. In Mexico, drugs that are prescription in the U.S. can be bought over the counter. The Mexican drug cartels are now working in Tennessee and have no problems getting them. There's been as many as 4 persons a week dying here from drug overdose. My unit set its sights on large suppliers, not single users. When these people went to court, they got prison time, not probation like here. The small users and dealers here get probation and have to pay the county each month they are on probation. This puts them back on the street trying to find money to live on and pay the county. This causes break-ins, thefts, and more fraud. Get them into a long-term rehab to stop their habit and put the large dealers in state and federal prisons. Then they will be out of the county system and not dealing in the next week on the street. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hoover. Our next candidate for Sheriff of Fentress County is Mr. Gary Goose Ledbetter. Gary, your question. Drugs were the top concern of our respondents. How would you control the illegal buying and selling of prescription drugs?
The answer is 2 words: proactive policing. What I mean is, for too long, police agencies have been in reactive mode operations. In other words, there is more to policing than stopping speeders on the highway. While that has its importance in traffic safety concerns, it only plays a small role. I propose that a concerted effort be made by all deputies working in the Sheriff's Department. Each one is to win, and what is necessary to win. They must get out into the heart of every community. Fentress County must not be a place of refuge for drug dealers. Instead, Fentress County must be a place of insecurity and uncertainty. There are various proactive methods available to law enforcement, such as drug buys and confidential informants. While those play an important role, I feel that the most effective method is when every deputy comes to understand their personal responsibility and get out into the streets. Meet with the people of the community and discover where the dealers live. Once that information is obtained, then a concerted effort can be made to rid them of their practice. There's another method that is not openly discussed in this forum. I am certain it has never been tried in Fentress County. The possibility of this information getting out to the wrong ears is too great to chance in discussing the particulars of this particular program. However, I can assure you that it appears to be very effective and can make a huge difference in gaining victory on the war on drugs. If elected, it is my personal goal to enact this program for the betterment of the people of Fentress County. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ledbetter. And since you still have your microphone in your hand, we will start with our second question, if you please. Our second question going to Mr. Ledbetter. Repeat offenders cost the county enormous amounts of money. How would you reduce these costs?
I would suggest the best way to answer this question is to simply say that Fentress County must reduce its amount of repeat offenders. The idea here is simple. If repeat offenders are costing the county too much in expenses, then apparently the programs currently in place are not working effectively. Therefore, I propose that efforts be made in revisiting the current methods of handling convicted offenders. We must take note that criminal justice system is made up of 3 branches. That is the police, the courts, and corrections. The people have identified a legitimate concern, and that concern is that too often offenders are convicted, released, and then return to the community and reoffend. As a law enforcement professional, I understand the importance of working with court personnel. Therefore, I propose that as candidate for Sheriff of Fentress County, it would be my responsibility to the people, if elected, to take a personal interest in the cases brought before the court's consideration. It would be incumbent upon me to ask for stiffer sentences and penalties, especially in cases in which the possibility of repeat offending is high. A problem with people who continue to commit crime is that they have no fear of the consequences of committing those crimes. I understand that the courts have their own difficulties and obstacles that we often do not see or understand. However, I believe as sheriff, I can work with the courts while helping the courts to identify potential problems and then bring about positive resolutions that reduce the amount of repeat offenders. Certainly, positive adjustments can be made. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ledbetter. Question number 2 for Mr. Spencer Hoover. Mr. Hoover, your question. Repeat offenders cost the county enormous amounts of money. How would you reduce these costs?
Unlike here, our repeat offenders went to state prison. Not like here, where a person arrested 2 or 3 times and keeps getting probation. At the same time, the Fentress jail has about twice the prisoners that it was built for. People are sleeping on pads with no room to walk past them. The jail is understaffed at this time for the number of inmates. A number of them are in jail for what in my world were called minor misdemeanors. This would get them a ticket and cost them $100, and they'd never see a courtroom or jail. Having nonviolent offenders do community service would help, as there's no jail cost and the community benefits for free. As I said in the first question, get them into a long-term rehab to stop their habit. Drug education to school should be pushed. A 10-year-old in school today with a cell phone, texting, and internet interacts with more people of all ages than their parents ever dreamed of in their youth. This is one reason to have a Sheriff Scout group. It gives the youth a peer group to look up to. Members of the Scout group would be able to interact with the youth here on their level in ways that an adult can't. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Spencer. Next question, Sheriff Cravens, question number 2. Repeat offenders cost the county enormous amounts of money. How would you reduce these costs?
Turk, when you have people incarcerated in your county jail, whether it be a county jail, a state prison, the taxpayers pay for their upkeep. They have to pay for their room, board, their medical, etc. And there's no way to avoid doing that. You know, if I have an inmate in jail down there that is complaining of chest pain, I'm not a doctor and I'm not God, and I don't have the right to refuse that man medical attention. I don't want the responsibility laying on my shoulders of a man falling over dead with a heart attack because I chose not to take him to the hospital. Rehabs do a good job. The long-term drug rehabs, I've seen good results out of that. Know several people I could name right now, which I won't, that have completed long-term drug rehabs and have been clean for over a year, some going on 2 years. So that's a big help. But when it comes right down to it, to the cost of keeping these inmates up, there really is just no way around it. And times are getting harder. There's more drug selling going on due to prescription narcotics. And we're going to see more of these people in jail over the next few years. You're going to see your numbers in your jail increase over the next few years. Just have to work with the courts. And what the courts do, you know, I can't tell a judge how to sentence somebody. That's his job, and that's his choice as to the sentence and the punishment he hands down. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cravens. Question number 2 for Mr. Schote. Mr. Schote, repeat offenders cost the county enormous amounts of money. How would you reduce these costs?
Okay. First thing I feel like we need to do is make sure that more harsh penalties are enforced upon these offenders. The initial charges that it would be would make it, if you make a harsher penalty on these initial cases, I feel like these individuals will not return to the system as after. The state has a minimum and a maximum penalty enforced, but this time we are not enforcing the maximum penalties on these offenders. This would in turn save on the cost of taxpayers for state-appointed attorney fees. These offenders are appointed attorneys, and it costs the taxpayers to defend these people. I feel that would reduce a lot of costs and correction officers as well. It costs less to serve initial jail time than it does to continue to prosecute these repeat offenders. And I think that we need to do as officers, we need to do investigations more adequately. We need to prosecute these people with good cases. We need to present a good caseload to the court system so they can prosecute these people to the fullest extent of the law. And I think we need to deter the problem before it occurs if we can, not wait till the problem occurs and then try to address it at that time. We need to keep these young people from getting this problem we can to start with, and that goes with good police work and community involvement. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Schote. Since we're already at your table, we'll begin with you with our third question. Here's your question, Mr. Schote. Why are you interested in the job you seek, and what makes you uniquely qualified to do this job?
I feel that my work experience as a state police officer for over the past 22 years and the specialized training that I've received in drug and alcohol abuse and domestic violence that the state specialized training programs have given me in the past gives me an advantage over some of the other people involved in these elections at times because I have more extensive training through the state. Our smaller agencies do not have adequate training that we need to give them at times because of budgets. I'm also an authority figure as a father and a grandfather, and I understand the problems with these young people growing up because I watch them with my own. I think that we need to have a real interest in our young people, and I want to get back to a budget. I have served with budgets. I have experience with the board of directors of a multi-million-dollar corporation on budgets. I understand financing. I think these things give me a real interest in this job, and I'm interested in the job because I like to see this community grow and prosper. It has in the past years before we had all these drug problems in this county. I want the people to grow in this county as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Short. Our next question for Sheriff Chucky Cravens. Mr. Cravens, why are you interested in the job you seek, and what makes you uniquely qualified to do this job?
Well, Turk, I was born and raised in Fentress County. I've lived here all my life. I've worked law enforcement here in this county for just a fraction over 19 years. I love the people, and I love my community, and most of all, I love the kids in this county. And I want to ensure their safety as well as our elderly. I want people to feel safe to go in their own home and lay down and go to sleep of a night. And I've worked hard to do that over the last 4 years. My qualifications, like I said, I've been in law enforcement for over 19 years, been sheriff for the last 4. It's been the biggest honor of my life is to be able to serve this county as their sheriff. I've been through numerous drug interdiction schools throughout the state, some put on by the Highway Patrol, others by other agencies, and I try to send my people to receive as good a training as I've got for myself and to provide the county with as good a sheriff's department as I possibly can. And I feel that makes me the most qualified candidate due to the hands-on experience that I've had in dealing with the people. I think your number one qualification is to know how to deal with the people and to know how to talk to the people. And I felt like I've done a pretty good job of that over the last 4 years and hope to get to continue to do that over the next 4. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cravens. Question number 3 now directed to Mr. Spencer Hoover, candidate for Sheriff of Fentress County. Mr. Hoover, your question. Why are you interested in the job you seek, and what makes you uniquely qualified to do this job?
I worked in law enforcement emergency work since the 70s. The unit I worked for was the only one like it in the United States. We handled only major crimes and large-scale drug dealing. We dealt with the Crip, the Blood, the Detroit street gang on a day-to-day basis. These gangs resulted in as many as 4 street killings a week. Now the Mexican drug cartels are in Tennessee, as reported by Cable News Network. These people are not to be taken lightly. They will shoot someone for standing on their corner. We did the entire serial rapist, serial killer, and public corruption cases. This unit worked with the ATF and took out a group that was plotting to do bombings. As this was before 9/11, it only made the local TV stations, unlike it would today. I've been in the computer since 1987. I would set up a database of all persons arrested and known felons and drug dealers in this county. Our SI unit database, which is used as
Thank you, Mr. Hoover. Question number 3 now to candidate Gary Goose Ledbetter. Mr. Ledbetter, why are you interested in the job you seek, and what makes you uniquely qualified to do this job?
Turk, it has been my desire to be sheriff of Fentress County for many years. This is my home. I love the people of Fentress County, and I sincerely enjoy the quality of life we have in Fentress County. I enjoy the opportunity of protecting the community, and I honor what it means to be a servant of the people. I want to take the idea of honor and service and apply it to the office of sheriff. It is my fervent desire for the people I serve to have faith and trust in their local law enforcement. I want to be instrumental in bringing back a strong feeling of safety and serenity here in Fentress County. Furthermore, I feel that if law enforcement is my career and profession in life, then I must strive to further that career by continuing to advance myself in that profession. I have served high-ranking positions as both chief deputy and detective, and now I feel as my retirement age is getting closer, I would better serve the community by applying my abilities, ethics, and morals to the high office of sheriff. As an experienced investigator, I can employ my skills to lead a team of officers that will be committed in the detection and the solving of crimes. I understand your concerns about drugs, crimes, and corruptions that were voiced by many who have responded in regards to problems within our community. Please understand your concerns are also my concerns. If elected, I pledge myself to never take the office of sheriff for granted. I pledge myself to stay focused upon the needs of the community in which I serve. And finally, I pledge myself to be true to the office of sheriff and to seek out injustice and corruption wherever it may hide. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ledbetter, and thank you, gentlemen, for participating in Meet Your Candidate Forum. We thank you very much. God bless.
Thank you, candidates, for your remarks. At this time, we'd ask all candidates for road supervisor to make their ways to the tables. We'll take another 5-minute break to reset the tables. Along with quality home health care, quality home health care, quality duty care and access program, and Buckeye medical equipment, and the Chamber of Commerce, we're pleased to be able to present this to you today. The Chamber of Commerce is a voluntary association of businesses and professional people organized to promote business and assist the community development, and to advance programs of Fentress County. The Chamber's vision is to involve the entire community to improve the quality of life for the people and stimulate the business environment of this area. I encourage each of you to get to know your Chamber of Commerce. I'd like to take this opportunity to extend an invitation to you to become a Chamber member. In doing so, you'll be joining over 200 businesses and individuals dedicated to improving the quality of living in Fentress County. At this time, I'd like to introduce your candidates for road supervisor, Mr. Butch Blevins, Mr. Jeff Evans, Mr. Scott Norris, and Mr. David Slavin. Mr. Bass.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator, and thank you, gentlemen, for being here to participate in our forum this afternoon. We appreciate it very, very much. We'll start with Mr. Blevins. Fred Butch Blevins, as most of you know him, road supervisor. Mr. Blevins, your question, based on public response, several road conditions need to be addressed. How will you determine which district takes priority?
Thank you. It's an honor to be here. More often than not, the money that we receive dictates a lot where we have to work and what we do. We receive no money from this county through property tax or fuel tax sticker. Ours is strictly motor fuel tax through the state. So, you know, getting that kind of money and you don't know what you get from 1 month, you're actually 30 days behind all the time. So you have to have a little cushion, and that dictates a lot where we go and what we do and how we continue what we do. Also, we look at the condition of the road, the number of the houses, and the age of the road. You know, we've got some roads in this county that's, I guess, 100 years and plus years old, I guess, or over. So, and that's where we determine a lot of it. Of course, a lot of the houses on the road, that has a lot to do with it. But we've tried to work throughout the county fairly to every district. I think we've accomplished that. In all types of weather, winter, summer, hot or cold, we've been there. So, and that's we try to be as fair as we possibly could have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Blevins. Our next candidate, Mr. Jeff Evans, candidate for road superintendent. Jeff, thank you for participating. Your question, based on public response, several road conditions need to be addressed. How will you determine which districts take priority?
Yes, Turk. I would like to thank everyone for the opportunity to speak. While reviewing the written responses submitted by the voters of Fentress County, the most common concerns are a need for better county roads with no gravel, better road safety, getting rid of potholes, and better road maintenance to help attract industry and tourism. When I become your next road superintendent, road maintenance and upgrade will occur throughout the county in all districts on a as needed basis. And as those needs fluctuate, so will the work schedule of the highway department. My goal is to use the highway department's $2 million annual budget to tar and chip every gravel road in every district throughout the county and to upgrade all existing tar and chip roads to asphalt. I will do this while also maintaining the safety of all county roads by keeping potholes filled, ditch lines clear, road signs visible, and bridges passable in every district.
Thank you, Mr. Evans. This note of interest to all candidates before we ask our next question. When you speaking into the microphone, if you cannot hear yourself, pull your mic a little bit closer to you like that so that everyone can hear. I apologize if that distracted you. Our next candidate, Mr. Scott Norris, candidate for road superintendent, the August 5th election. Mr. Norris, your question. Based on public response, several road conditions need to be addressed. How will you determine which districts take priority?
Thank you. If elected in August, I will immediately start traveling the roads all over the county to determine which roads need work first. As I've been out campaigning and visiting with everybody, I'm also making a list of things people have expressed to me. I want all of you to know that the road superintendent, every road will be important to me. I will do my very best to keep all roads in good shape. With this in mind, I don't believe that any district in our county take priority over any other. The road you live on is just as important to you as the road I live on is to me, and I understand that. The only area that I believe should always have priority are areas where safety is a concern, and that will come first. I will personally travel each district to get input as which projects need attention first. I will also be looking to you, the citizens, to express your concerns regarding the roads. I believe that many times people who live in a particular community know the areas that need work before anyone else does because you're there every day. If I'm elected, I encourage each of you and everyone else in the county to come and see me or give me a call. I want your input. I will always have an open door policy. After all, as road superintendent, I work for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Norris. Our next question goes to Mr. David Slavin, candidate for road superintendent. David, your question. Based on public response, several road conditions need to be addressed. How will you determine which district takes priority?
Thanks, Turk. The most common response was that our roads need improvement to fix the potholes. I do not think that rating the district is the best approach. We need a comprehensive road plan that will take all Fentress County into account. I think we need to rate the road conditions to find out what takes priority. There are 3 road categories: paved, tar and chip, and gravel. Under these categories, the road itself will be rated on a scoring system of 1 to 5 in the following way: of how many houses are on the road, is it a through road or a dead end, is there a fire department, business, bus route that uses it, the length of that road, the amount of traffic on that road based on traffic counters, type of vehicle that use the road, whether it be a commercial vehicle versus residential, the grade and the slope of that road. Using these rating systems, each road will be assigned a score under the 3 categories. The next step is to look at the worst road under these categories and determine why they're in the shape they're in, whether it be the ditch lines needing pulled, water runoff, too much traffic for that type of road, etc. Once that is determined, it will be decided if the road should be bumped up into another category. If it has a lot of traffic on a tar and chip road, it may need to be paved. I will work with the county commissioners as well as the public to determine what needs to be done to best serve the people using those roads and still stay within the budget. I would also like to list the ratings of the roads on a web page so the public can see how the road's rated and what the maintenance and schedule for that road is and where we are working.
Thank you, Mr. Slavin. And according to forum rules, we'll also address our second question to Mr. Slavin. We'll begin over here and reverse the order. Your question, Mr. Slavin. How do you plan to ensure that the taxpayers' investment in equipment are safeguarded and maximized?
Well, all equipment will have service and maintenance records. All operators will be experienced and qualified for the equipment they operate. Anyone who operates equipment will be the operator for that equipment. The equipment will be used only for county roads and projects for the county, and drug tests will be given at random to all employees.
Thank you again, Mr. Evans. Our next question is for Mr. Scott Norris, candidate for road superintendent. Scott, your question. How do you plan to ensure that the taxpayers' investment in equipment are safeguarded and maximized?
As your road superintendent, I will always keep in mind that this county don't have money to waste. I know that every dollar I spend is a dollar that someone in our county paid taxes on. I will never take that responsibility light. I will work to the best of my ability to get the most out of your money. I will keep an accurate record of all county equipment and its condition. I will be personally responsible to you, the taxpayers of our county, for this equipment. I will see that my employees are trained and to be able to use the equipment to get the most out of it. I've owned my own excavating business for 15 years. I know firsthand how important it is to get every penny's worth out of the value of a piece of equipment, because I've had to do that myself. Heavy equipment costs are huge, and I will see that we perform constant maintenance on all of our county equipment to make the equipment last longer. If elected, I will have policies and procedures regarding maintenance of all equipment. General maintenance checks will be performed on all equipment daily before operation. I learned a long time ago that a little preventive maintenance can reduce cost and repairs and keep the equipment in the best shape possible. Proper upkeep is the key to the life of our county equipment, and I will ensure that is done.
Thank you, Mr. Norris. Our question now goes to Mr. Jeff Evans. Jeff, your question. How do you plan to ensure that the taxpayers' investment in equipment are safeguarded and maximized?
As a small business owner and a heavy equipment operator, I understand the importance of safeguarding the highway department's equipment and maximizing its use. I have 30 years' experience in heavy equipment maintenance, repair, and operation, as well as experience in purchasing both new and used heavy equipment. In order to prevent unnecessary costs, it is important that any person on the highway department who operates a piece of equipment be knowledgeable of its use and operation. Although I have the knowledge to determine when it is appropriate to buy new or used equipment, regular maintenance will help prolong the life of the highway department's machinery and reduce the amount of money spent on additional equipment. In the end, one of the best ways to maximize our investment is to use the equipment exclusively for the benefit of the taxpayers on county roads only.
Thank you, Mr. Evans. Our next question to Mr. Butch Blevins. Butch, your question. How do you plan to ensure that the taxpayers' investment in equipment are safeguarded and maximized?
Well, we safeguard equipment out there by regular routine maintenance and upkeep. We got a regular hourly oil change and maintenance department all the time. We have also our equipment operators and truck drivers are probably some of the best in the county. That really saves our equipment. Each man runs the same equipment every day. Our equipment inventory is probably the best it's ever been since the days of Dooley Hood. I guess some of y'all can remember Dooley, some of you can't.